There are 8.8 million species in our world, and only 1.2 million of these have been described or may be identified. But even with these numbers or info, most people think they've got the animal kingdom all figured out, though they actually don't. What you're about to see today isn't your usual odd animals. It's a collection of creatures so strange, so out there, they make everything you thought you knew feel like a guess. From the ocean's blackest pits to the farthest corners of forgotten jungles, these are the 15 most bizarre creatures you never knew roamed the earth. Number 15. Glyptodon. Ever looked at an armadillo and thought, cute, but what if it was the size of a car? Well, meet Glyptodon. Around 10,000 years ago, before Ross Geller dressed up for the holidays, real-life giant armadillos rolled around Earth like prehistoric tanks. These creatures can grow up to 10 feet long and were armored beasts, not predators. They were gentle plant eaters, relying just on their big size and fortress-like shells to avoid becoming someone else's dinner. Their bodies were low to the ground, sturdy, and slow-moving. They spent their time munching on vegetation and lumbering from one patch of grass to the next. And like the elephant bird, they were also wiped out by humans. People hunted them for their meat, but more often for their massive domed shells, perfect, ready-made shelters. It's no surprise they vanished. We didn't just eat them, we moved into their armor. Evolution made a tank. Humans turned it into real estate. Number 14. Atopodentatus. Now, this zipper-mouth lizard looked like someone let a kid design a reptile mid-doodle. It was found in marine rocks from China dating back 247 million years, and this thing didn't follow any rule book that nature has created. It stretched nearly 3 meters long and had a skull shaped like a hammerhead. The most bizarre feature was that its tightly packed, chisel-like teeth formed a jagged zipper across its face. With a look that screamed half hammerhead, half vacuum cleaner, you'd assume it was a predator. But no. It was the ocean's earliest vegetarian reptile. Instead of attacking prey, Atopodentatus spent its days scrubbing algae off rocks. And it wasn't shy about hygiene either. Scientists believe it actually pressed its face to stone surfaces, scraping off its lunch like a living squeegee. The teeth, the shape, the name. None of it made sense until researchers pieced together the puzzle. Turns out this weird reptile wasn't built for destruction. Number 13. Neuralagus. Well, bunnies are small, shy, and built for speed, but not 4 million years ago. Back then, rabbits came in a bulkier version, and these were called Neuralagus, the largest rabbit species ever known to humankind. They were found only on the island of Minorca, and this heavy hopper tipped the scales at around 12 kilograms, about the size of a medium-sized dog. But this wasn't just a supersized Easter bunny. It had short ears, small eyes, a chunky frame, and zero need for speed. Unlike today's lightning-fast bunnies darting through gardens, Neuralagus was awkward, clumsy, and entirely unbothered by predators, because it didn't have any. Living on an isolated island gave it the luxury of taking its time. No evolutionary pressure meant no need to outrun danger. So it evolved into a sluggish grazer, waddling around with the energy of a sleepy couch potato. These days, rabbits run. But back then, they lounged. This wasn't the cute petting zoo kind. This was the prehistoric heavyweight of the rabbit world, but a lazy version. Number 12. Uintatherium. Well, just forget Halloween decorations, because if you want prehistoric super weird, look at Uintatherium. Imagine a beast that looked like a rhino-mastodon mashup with fangs, standing in your front yard. These extinct mammals roamed Earth during the Eocene epoch, about 56 million years ago. Their most bizarre features were those large bony knobs on their skulls, believed to be used for displays or battles. Some scientists think they hold glands. Others say horns. Add to that 2 long saber-like canine teeth, and you've got a prehistoric herbivore with a face made for scaring off competition. Despite the intimidating headgear, Uintatherium was not a crazy psycho killer. It used those teeth for stripping leaves, not flesh. Think of it as an overbuilt salad shredder. Considered among the first giant land mammals, this heavyweight paved the way for megafauna to come. They weren't sleek or elegant, but they were massive, strange, and unforgettable. Not a rhino, not a mastodon, just one colossal evolutionary mistake. Number 11. Tiktaalik. Long before Ariel had dreams of dry land, there was Tiktaalik, a fish that didn't just swim, it contemplated stepping out. Living roughly 375 million years ago, this lobe-finned fish wasn't your average swimmer. It had scales and fins, but also a flat, crocodile-like skull, top-mounted eyes, a mobile neck, and bony fins that looked eerily like arms. It even had a rib cage, making breathing on land more feasible. Scientists consider Tiktaalik the evolutionary bridge between aquatic and land-dwelling animals. With fins strong enough to support its body, it could heave itself through shallow swamps, maybe not walk, but certainly drag. Discovered by Neil Shubin and his team in 2004 and revealed in 2006, this fossil changed everything we understood about how life made the leap from water to land. If you've ever walked, danced, or awkwardly tripped on dry ground, you've got Tiktaalik to thank. This creature didn't just adapt, it pioneered a whole new biome. Number 10. Hallucigenia. Well, now this is simply ridiculously bizarre. The name already sounds like something tripping on its own DNA, and that's not a joke. This creepy worm looked like it had stumbled through a cactus patch and decided to stay. Picture a slender worm with absurdly thin legs sticking out everywhere, covered in rows of sharp dorsal spines like it raided a medieval armory. Not exactly the kind of worm you'd see featured in How to Eat Fried Worms. This spiky strand of prehistoric spaghetti roamed Earth's oceans around 508 million years ago during the Cambrian period. And for years, scientists had no clue what they were even looking at. No one could agree on which way it was facing, what end was the head, or how it even walked. For decades, Hallucigenia sat in the fossil record like a living riddle until researchers finally cracked its weird anatomy. I've seen a lot of creatures, but this has changed my mind totally. Life can be a curse or a blessing. Number 9. The Elvis dinosaur. You've heard of T-Rex. You've heard of Velociraptor. But have you heard of Cryolophosaurus, the dinosaur with the best hairstyle in prehistory? Found in Antarctica and discovered in 1991 by William R. Hammer, this creature was the first carnivorous dinosaur unearthed on the icy continent. But it wasn't its teeth or size that stole the spotlight. It was the crest. Right on top of its skull sat a dramatic, curved, pompadour-like ridge, something straight out of Elvis Presley's tour wardrobe. This stylish carnivore measured around 23 feet long and weighed over 450 kilograms, making it one of the top predators in its environment. Its skeletal build was lean and agile, built for hunting, and that flashy crest likely helped attract mates or intimidate rivals. It didn't just look good, it knew it. If dinosaurs had fashion weeks, Cryolophosaurus would have strutted straight down the runway, jaws open, crest shining, a prehistoric icon with bite and boldness. Number 8. The walking whale. Roughly 48 million years ago, Ambulocetus blurred the line between sea and land. Its body was long and crocodile-like, with webbed feet and a muscular tail that made it a skilled swimmer. But unlike today's whales, this creature could actually haul itself onto shore. Fossils suggest it hunted like a crocodile, lurking in shallows before lunging out to grab prey. Capable in water yet comfortable enough on land, Ambulocetus was a true transitional form that gave scientists crucial insight into whale evolution. Its jaws were powerful, and its sharp teeth made quick work of fish or animals unlucky enough to stray near the water's edge. In a modern setting, seeing a whale out of water sparks panic. Back then, this semi-aquatic predator thrived in both domains. It was equally at home gliding beneath rivers as it was dragging itself across muddy banks. Half whale, half crocodile, and entirely unique. Ambulocetus walked so modern whales could swim. Number 7. The giraffe-necked reptile. Tanystropheus was one of the strangest reptiles of the Triassic world. Its most striking feature was a neck with 13 elongated vertebrae, longer than the rest of its body combined. At first, paleontologists thought the fossils belonged to flying reptiles or even crocodile tails. Eventually, they realized this bizarre creature used its neck like a fishing pole, snapping up squid and fish without moving its main body. Measuring up to 6 meters long, it lived around 242 million years ago across Europe, Asia, and North America. Not technically a dinosaur, Tanystropheus is considered part of the lineage that would later give rise to crocodiles, birds, and dinosaurs. Its design was outlandish, but effective, staying motionless in the water while extending its absurdly long neck to grab prey. A reptile shaped by patience, not speed, and one of evolution's most memorable experiments in design. In short, it was strange, efficient, and unforgettable. Number 6. Majungasaurus. It lived around 70 million years ago on Madagascar, and it wasn't just a predator, it was one of the few dinosaurs confirmed to be a cannibal. Fossil evidence shows bite marks that perfectly matched its own teeth, meaning it ate its own kind when food was scarce. This was no gentle grazer. At about 23 feet long with a stocky, bulldog-like skull, Majungasaurus was built for power rather than elegance. Its jaws, packed with serrated teeth, were efficient slicing tools, and its short but muscular body made it a formidable hunter in its environment. While many dinosaurs have a reputation for ferocity, this one proved it beyond doubt. At the top of its ecosystem, ruthless in behavior and not above turning relatives into meals, Majungasaurus has earned its unsettling legacy. The image of a predator tearing into its own species cements it as one of prehistory's most notorious killers. Cannibalism wasn't a myth here. It was survival, plain and simple. Number 5. Zephactinus. If you're picturing a prehistoric goldfish, stop right there. We mean because this thing was a 20-foot missile with teeth. Scientists joke about it being the piranha of the late Cretaceous, and seriously, they're not far off. Just look at it. It swallowed prey whole, sometimes as big as itself. Fossils have been found with nearly intact fish still inside their gut. It didn't nibble. It engulfed. With a mouthful of jagged teeth and a frame built like a torpedo, Zephactinus patrolled the ancient seas about 70 million years ago, always hungry, never polite. It wasn't just dangerous, it was aggressive, fast, and confident enough to take down anything smaller and some things the same size. Its terrifying bite and brutal hunting style made it a top-tier predator until the whole dinosaur era came crashing down. Today, it's just another fossil in the books, but back then, it was the fish other fish told horror stories about. No mercy, no second chances, just jaws. Number 4. Stethecanthus. Well, Stethecanthus wasn't your average shark. Swimming Earth's waters 360 million years ago, this oddball only measured around 3 feet long, but its appearance was anything but basic. It had a bizarre anvil-shaped dorsal fin covered in dense spines, basically a built-in ironing board on its back. Weird? Extremely. Scientists are still unsure what the spiked fin was for. Maybe it was for impressing mates, maybe to intimidate rivals, or maybe it was just natural flair. On top of that, its teeth didn't resemble modern sharks' serrated blades. Instead, it had needle-like fangs arranged in a strange, slightly curved jawline. These weren't designed for crushing, more like spears to stab through soft-bodied prey. It wasn't the biggest, it wasn't the fastest, and it definitely wasn't a top predator. But what it lacked in size, it made up for in sheer weirdness. That back fin remains one of the most baffling designs evolution has ever thrown into the ocean. Number 3. Elephant bird. Now, let's head to solid and scary ground, specifically ancient Madagascar. Meet the elephant bird. It wasn't a dinosaur, but it might as well have been. Standing up to 3 meters tall and weighing over 500 kilograms, this flightless heavyweight towered above every other bird on Earth. Unlike Big Bird, this one didn't live on a friendly street. It ruled entire forests. Its days were slow, filled with foraging for fruit, plants, and seeds. But the real legend wasn't the bird. It was the egg. Over 30 centimeters long and massive enough to feed over 100 people. These eggs were prehistoric family feasts in a shell. Unfortunately, humans did what humans do best: ruined everything. Through relentless hunting and habitat destruction, we drove this gentle giant to extinction barely 1,000 years ago. The bird vanished, the forests changed, but the myth of those massive eggs still echoes through history. What do you think about this cute little bird? Number 2. Megatherium. Sloths might be everyone's favorite slow-motion tree huggers today, but 10,000 years ago, their ancient ancestors were anything but cuddly. Megatherium, the giant ground sloth, stretched over 20 feet long and weighed more than a present-day elephant. This wasn't a cute critter hanging from tree limbs. It was a ground-dwelling monster with massive claws and serious bulk. Unlike modern sloths, these giants didn't climb to eat. They simply stood up, leaned into vegetation, and used their enormous forelimbs to rip entire branches down. Their claws weren't for fighting. They were salad utensils on steroids. Megatherium was one of the largest land mammals to ever live, and yet, like so many others from that time, it vanished under the pressure of climate shifts and human hunters. Its extinction wasn't a mystery, it was a warning. What used to tower over landscapes like a furry bulldozer now exists only in bones and museum models. Big, gentle, and totally gone. Number 1. Opabinia. Another one of evolution's let's just see what happens projects from the Cambrian period. This strange marine oddball had not 2, not 3, but 5 eyes sprouting from its head like periscopes, offering a complete panoramic view of its surroundings. Cute? Sure. Until you get to the trunk. Right between those eyes was a long, flexible proboscis. At the end of it, a claw, not a nose, a grabber. Think of it as a tiny 5-eyed elephant that picks up food with a freaky face hand. It used that claw to scoop snacks from the ocean floor while wriggling through murky waters. As if that wasn't strange enough, its mouth was backwards, literally facing the wrong way. This deeply odd creature lived in what is now British Columbia's Burgess Shale, a true hotspot for nature's weirdest blueprints. It wasn't pretty, and it wasn't graceful. But Opabinia remains one of the wildest biological curveballs ever preserved in stone. We hope you found this video interesting. If you did, then like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.